welcome to Indie Film Cafe. I'm your host, Jonathan Moody, aka the Blu-ray Hunter, and I'm here with...
Paulie Presents It, known as the Moo Cow. Moo!
All right, and we're going to do our March 2019 haul, basically. And we got a lot. It's a pretty big haul today, so we want to make sure this was first. We're also doing a Blu-ray Hunter one, and we're going to be doing a, what's coming up with, with us in April.
So lots and lots of
stuff going on. So anyway, let's begin. In the beginning, I'm gonna talk about these movies I got from John Johnson's party. Paul's gotten kind of like, you keep forgetting to bring them.
Yeah.
And so I remembered today, or last night, and I grabbed them and put them in a thing. So these are what I got. There was a what was it called? It was like a Yankee Swap, but whatever they were called. Anyway, we had this thing where everybody brought in a present, and then you picked what you wanted, and I stole from somebody some movies and stuff that I wanted, and
that's where I got the Howley head from.
That's where you got the Howley head from. But I forgot to show you guys what movies I got and stuff, so this is pretty cool. One thing is called Nonstop Movie Party.
Mr. Lobo.
It's got Mr. Lobo, the host of Cinema Insomnia, on there.
Yay.
And so speaking of which, also, we got Cinema Insomnia with
nice.
Plan 9 from Outer Space, and I think Hardware Wars. So,
oh yeah, I love Hardware Wars.
I don't know if it's both the movies or just clips or something.
Hardware Wars is a short, so...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe it's the full thing.
Yeah.
So that's like pretty cool.
10 minutes, I don't think.
Awesome. All right. Then, Dr. Elemental's Mad Lab Picture Show.
I have that one. It's great.
Yeah, I got this. This is in the collection there. I'm excited to see it. I don't know. Did you see it? Did you watch it? What movie did they do?
Night of the Living Dead.
Night of the Living Dead? Yeah. Okay. Sweet. Kind of perfect movie to start with.
Oh, yeah.
That's what our Davilla's Midnight Movie Mortuary, that's our pilot's going to be. So, speaking of which, Night of the Living Dead Reanimated.
There you go.
For
I got
Monster.
that too.
Well, yeah, I think I gave you...
Right, you ended up with 2.
I ended up with 2, so I gave you 1.
Yay.
And, so we both got it. But this one's signed by Borloff. So that's pretty cool. And then, last but not least, is a short film, I think, called Esperanza, starring Mariah Johnson, Johnny Johnson's wife. So there you go.
Outstanding.
All right. So after that, I'd gone to 7-Eleven, and I was looking for something, schlocky that I could get. And I got a Roger Corman produced movie, Hollywood Boulevard.
Oh, yeah.
Directed by Joe Dante and Alan
Dante.
Arkish together. And it actually has commentary with both of them.
Cool.
So I'm excited to check this out. Never seen it. It looks cheesy, 70s, fun.
Fun.
All right. So then I went to Goodwill, and I picked up four titles on DVD. The Descent, which Sam Holderfield loves. That's like her favorite movie of all time.
I saw it. It was pretty good.
Yeah, it's a good monster movie from what I've understood. I need to watch it, but I got Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things.
Favorite movies, and we got to do that at Indie Film Cafe.
It's Bob Clark's one of his first films that he did after Black Christmas. And,
fabulous movie.
Before Christmas Story. So
do your athlete thing.
Yeah. So I'm excited to kind of check that out. I've never actually watched it.
It's really good and bad and cheesy.
It's a restored version, apparently. So
wait till you see Anya Ormsby, like the greatest movie performance ever.
This is the completely restored and uncut theatrical release.
Yeah, that's the version I have.
Okay.
Fabulous. All
right, De Niro and Snipes in The Fan. I hadn't seen this movie in forever. I saw it years ago. It's a... Who directed it? Tony Scott. Yeah, it's a Hollywood schlock movie. Like, I don't think it's gonna be the greatest thing when I rewatch it. But this, I'm so excited about. Is Schwarzenegger and Jim Belushi in Red Heat. Oh my goodness!
Dear.
Just those two together should not. I feel like they should not be should not be together.
It's funny you mentioned that because just before you came over, I was watching Abraxas, this really bad, cheesy '80s sci-fi movie with Jesse the Body Ventura. And guess who pops in an uncredited role? But Jim Belushi.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say
Yeah.
Schwarzenegger.
No. It was
Oh.
just, I had no idea, but yeah, there he is. It's really
Nice. That's awesome.
funny. I know. I didn't expect that.
Yeah, but no, I when I saw this, I was like, I gotta buy it because it's just Walter Hill did it.
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't even know that.
Nice.
You know what? It's probably gonna be fun.
Yeah, I never think of Walter Hill outside of the '70s, but
Yeah, like I only think of him as the Warriors director or what's it, Streets of Fire or something.
out to play.
Yep. All right, so next.
All right, so I got a bunch of stuff from a bunch of different places, and they're all going to be mixed up because that's just the way it is. But starting off, we have the original 13 Ghosts,
13
William
Ghosts.
Castle. So there you go, 13 times the thrills, 13 times the screams. It's actually not a bad, I mean, it's still kind of got a weird gimmicky sort of thing going on, but it's actually not too bad as far as a William Castle movie goes. Then I had a nice juicy vein of midnight movie double features, including The Earth Dies Screaming and Chosen Survivors. I believe those are both British movies, sort of British sci-fi, which are usually fairly tame but can be fun sometimes. And then a couple of Dracula movies. We've got The Return of Dracula and Dracula was just The Vampire.
The Vampire.
Right, now Return of Dracula is that weird one in the 50s where he comes back and he's trying to sort of disguise himself as like a tourist from Hungary or something like that. And you know, it's okay. It's a weird movie that sort of bridged the gap between the Hammer reboot of all the Dracula stuff and all the classic Universal Dracula stuff. You know, that's kind of what it's most famous for. So, you know, not counting the 40s Abbott and Costello nonsense. So next we have something called DOA, Dead or Alive, which is a chick fighter movie based on some kind of video game. But it's supposed to be super cheesy and silly, and it looked like it's a lot of fun. So I saw it and I snagged a copy.
Eric Roberts is in it.
Eric Roberts, there you go. Mark of quality right there.
Marco quality. Said nobody ever.
I know.
Jamie Presley though, that's
There
awesome.
you go. Yeah, Jimmy Presley's cool.
Can't go wrong with her, honestly.
Next, we have Tom Holland's film, We All Scream for Ice Cream, with Bill Forsythe, actually. But this is actually from the Masters of Horrors. I guess they had a TV show for a while. And so this is one of the 1 hour movie segments from there. And it's people who piss off, and I think actually get an ice cream man killed, and he comes back and takes his very cold, tasty revenge. And, you know, it looks like it's going to be kind of silly.
Well, first of all, does William Forsythe play the Ice Cream Man?
I'm not going to tell you, but yeah, I believe so.
Okay, and and it's got audio commentary at Tom Holland and the writer David Shaw. So Shaw, I guess is how you say his name. So cool.
Yeah, definitely very cool. And Lee Terguson's in there as well. Next, we have one that's been kicking around for quite some time. From the guy who gave you Spawn, we have Frankenfish with our old buddy Mark Boone Jr. And amongst others. He's always in all kinds of weird stuff. That's something down in the Louisiana bayous made this horrible, weird, awful mutant fish that's going around munching on everybody, and they have to deal with it.
Oh, Muse Watson's in it too. Cool.
There you go.
Cool.
And finally, for this group, I have a Grindhouse double feature. One is called Dead Riot. With there's
I think Tony Todd's in
Tony
that.
Todd is in there, and Aaron Brown shows up in there, and it's kind of like a 70s Grindhouse remake, sort of. Not a remake, but an homage to that. And then that's followed up with Flesh for the Beast, which I actually already have individually, but you know, I'm not too worried about that. So yeah, definitely doing and you'll see there's going to be more Grindhouse stuff coming up because I love the Grindhouse.
All
And
right.
I think the original title was Shadow Dead Riot.
Yeah, Shadow Dead Riot. I remember hearing that. All right, and I have that in my collection as well.
Gotcha.
It's one of those over there. All right, so next I wanted to share. I went to the Rite Aid. Excuse me. Rite Aid by my house had a basically going out of business sale. Everything was 75% off. So the first thing when I walked in there, I was really actually looking for like razor blades, like razors and stuff. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna get some cheap razors. Walk in and there's like a shit ton of movies. And I was like, well, like
Why not?
why not look around and see what they got? And they had a lot of bad movies.
Nice.
A lot of bad stuff. So I'm gonna go and let you kind of know what everything is. The first movie is called Blood Trap.
Huh.
It stars Alexandra Paul, Michael Riley, Bruce Boxleitner, a few other people that I don't really know.
Bruce Boxleitner. God, I haven't
Yeah.
heard about him in years.
Well, I mean, this was made, I think, in the 2004, so it's been a while. But basically, the idea is Alexandra Paul and Bruce Boxleitner play like this couple who learn that their daughter has leukemia, so they go to her natural father, who is played by this violent ex-con, who to see basically because they know he's a suitable bone marrow donor, and when they go to see him, apparently. Somebody was murdered in his house, and he's been on the run. And did he
Oopsie.
do it? Did he not do it? Are they giving, trying to find the things to a murderer? Kind of thing. It's murder mystery. That they get kind of entangled in. It looks cheesy. That's all I'm gonna say. Speaking of cheesy,
Oh, there we go.
Lord of War.
Yes.
The Nicolas
Nick
Cage,
Cage.
Jared Leto, and Ethan Hawke movie.
Wow.
I mean,
there's
how
a combo.
I know, just so many awesome people in this. Ian Holm is in this movie too.
Nice.
God, and I don't know if this is any good or not. But this is. I saw the other day that I could have got this again somewhere else, but this was the best one I got because it's the 2-disc special edition version, as opposed to the other one. What I would have got is just the regular version. So that's kind of cool. All right, here's a TV show I got. First season of Night Court. I don't know if you guys ever remember that show. I remember it. I'm like, you know what? I might actually want to see it at some point again. It's one of those shows that are just goofy and sitcom. That's like kind of fun.
Is that Robert Englund? I see?
Yes, Robert Englund in 2001 Maniacs.
Ah.
This was directed by Tim Sullivan, who's done he was in part of Chillerama. He produced the show and was one of the hosts of Scream Queens that my friend Sierra Holmes was a part of. So she really got to know Tim pretty well on from that and everything. And he was amazing. He worked with Robert Englund and Lynn Shay.
Very nice.
Giuseppe Andrews, a few other people that were involved in this. But it's basically a remake of 2000 Maniacs, I guess it's a remake
Right.
of 2000 Maniacs, even though this is 2001 Maniacs. It's not really a sequel.
Got an extra Maniac.
Yeah, by Herschel Gordon Lewis. So this is
HGL, baby.
yeah. Another
Oh, dear.
cheesy movie called Shockwave.
Nice.
This has the most amazing cast ever. So Alexandra Paul is, apparently in this one too. She's in a lot of really shitty movies, apparently. But Joe Lando, Josh Cox with Michael Dorn, Bill
Dorn.
Mummy,
Bill Mummy, really.
Robert Picardo, George Takei,
Nice.
and Tim Thomerson.
Wow.
Isn't that just a stellar B movie
That
cast
is.
right there?
It's great.
It has a line produced by Kimberly A. Ray, which is Fred Olen Ray's wife, I believe. So, and it's directed by Jay Andrews, who I've never heard of, but now I want to see it. So it's on my to watch list. I was kind of excited about it. But,
Sure.
Okay, wait. Right here. Asteroid versus the Earth.
Nice.
Christopher Olen Ray.
Ah.
Tia Carrere.
Tina Carrere?
Yeah, she's in it. Jason Brooks, Tim Russ, and Robert Davey.
Okay.
So there you go. Asteroid versus the Earth. It looks just cheesy. I mean, come on now.
It's another Armageddon Day.
Yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't have much in the realm of like extra features, and neither does Shockwave. They just have like closed captionings, and this one has a making of and a gag
Oh, that's
reel.
kinda
So
fun.
yeah, at least something. But Asteroid vs. Earth was done by the Asylum, so you know it's gonna be cheesy. Dish Dogs. It's some skateboarding movie. Ride the skateboarding craze with Dish Dogs,
dear.
starring Marshall Allman, Haley Duff, and Luke Perry. So apparently Luke Perry.
Oh, Luke Perry. Oh.
Yeah, too bad. I saw it, and that was the first thing I thought is, oh, is that Luke Perry? And I miss Luke Perry already and stuff, so I had to get something. So I think that's pretty cool. And last but not least in this group is Dark Fields, starring Dee Wallace, Richard Lynch, Alan Sandweiss from Evil Dead, and David Carradine.
Oh.
So, and introducing Sasha Higgins. So anyway, is there anybody else? Nope, that's it. But that's all the big names or whatever. But yeah, so once again, one of those movies that I'm kind of excited to see. It looks like it's a Reaper movie, maybe, or like, or some kind of it's a farming movie. So I thought it was a scarecrow at first, but it's not. It doesn't look like a scarecrow, does it?
No.
I don't know what that is, but some guy with the sheaf to reap
Evil
people.
Farmers.
Yeah. So that's it of those. So your
All right, my next group. So let's start off with one that just I'd seen this one before and I never got it. I could not pass it up anymore. Finally got a copy of Blood Gnome. Yes, so it's little itty bitty gnomes who come down and need to eat people, and they think there's like a mama gnome they have to feed, and there's all kinds of ridiculousness going on. So definitely needed to get my hands on
and it's
that
got
one.
Julie Strain.
Julie
in it,
Strain's
and,
always a plus.
I was telling him when he got it because I was there when he got it. Tell him where you got this at.
Oh yeah, so this is one of the group. In fact, most of this, not all of them, are from Book Exchange 2 over at the Lynn Haven Mall in Virginia Beach.
Yeah, so we went to Book Exchange before last one that we did, and we went to the Norfolk one. So this time we decided to go to Virginia Beach, and when I told him I want to go to Virginia Beach, his first thing was Book Exchange, Book Exchange. He kept like making a big deal out of it.
Because I knew this one was a bigger one.
Yeah, and it was a bigger one. It definitely
Right.
was a bigger one. Still didn't have as many things as I was hoping, but
Not as many Blu-rays, but it's
definitely
still-
didn't have any
yeah,
Blu-rays. No.
Yeah, but that's all right.
Okay. Next.
So the next one is a movie called Sword of War. I believe it was released in Italy as Barbarossa because this is an Italian production. And basically what you've got here is Rutger Hauer and F. Murray Abraham, and it's sort of like the Italian version of Braveheart, pretty much, with some fairly cheesy special effects. And it looks like it'll be kind of like a cheesy, fun kind of a flick.
You got that at the Goodwill, right?
So this was a Goodwill find,
Yeah.
believe it or not.
Yeah.
So how about them apples?
Yeah.
Then this was the really big thing that I was able to find at the Book Exchange. I have the complete volume 1, 2, and 3 of the Grindhouse Experience. So 3 volumes, 20 movies, and some of them I already have, which is okay, but a lot of these I don't, and there's just all kinds of really
Let me
bizarre
see some
films.
of the titles and see if there's anything. I don't even recognize any of these titles.
Well, a lot of them are actually Italian movies. They're sort of Italian copies, and some of them are Japanese, and there's just a lot of 70s schlock in there. Is really what's going on.
Kung Fu Punch of Death.
There you go. Gotta love Kung Fu Punch of Death. There's the children, and the demon with the evil child. High School Hitchhikers.
There's Poseidon Explosion
Yeah.
and Earthquake 7.9. So you
Right.
can tell what those movies
Yes.
are like ripping off.
So yeah, that's basically what these are. These are all silly foreign grindhouse rip-off movies. There's a bunch of women in prison movies and jungle chick movies and all kinds of stuff. Go out and kill and 3 tough guys. Mandinga, come on.
Sounds like a black exploitation.
It is,
Yeah.
and it's a rip-off of Mandingo, which is
right.
which was itself its own freaking rip-off movie. So
Yeah.
it's fun. And then finally, one that Moody had been talking about for a long time. So when I saw it online for like 99 cents, I simply had to get it. Snow Shark. And I know that is coming up in the near future for
our podcast.
Right. So I had to pick this up, and I didn't watch it. All I've seen is the trailer, and just from the trailer alone, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm so glad I picked this up.
Oh yeah, you're gonna enjoy that one.
So this looks like
And
it's gonna be a
got
lot
like
of fun.
commentary and some other stuff.
Right. So, yep,
Yeah,
very
so,
nice.
Yep, it's so there you go. Those are those. So I've got one last one, and he's got one last one to do.
A lot of stuff this
so,
month.
Yep. So these were from the Book Exchange and the if I'm correct, also the Goodwill.
Excuse me.
So let me put that right there. So these are going to be, and then I'll get to these in a second. But these are from the Book Exchange. So when we went there, I was like, I brought in a couple movies because I knew it was an exchange place, and I brought some stuff in, and they said, okay, we'll give you credit for it if we don't already have it. Thankfully, they didn't have any of the movies that I basically donated. Well, not donated. I traded in, and they gave me $14. And I was like, I think there was only 3 or 4 movies, so I was like surprised that I got that much money off of that, and I was not complaining whatsoever. It's way better than Second of Charles.
Yeah.
Their stuff is really poor when they do. Like they basically give you like $1 or whatever.
And they just have a ton of mediocre stuff. Every time I go there to look for stuff, there's all this horror stuff, but it's all very mediocre. There's nothing really bad, and there's nothing really good.
Yeah, so it's so anyway, let's so go to here, Book Exchange. First one I got Scream of the Banshee.
Lance Henriksen.
Yes, Lance Henriksen, Lauren Holly, and it is directed by Stephen C. Miller, who has done a lot of stuff lately. I mean, he's been all over. He's been working with Bruce Willis a lot and things like that. He's just he's a busy dude, and he's doing a lot more action stuff than horror. But he got his start in horror really, and Anthony C. Ferrante wrote it, and he's the director of Sharknado. So it's really funny that the director of Sharknado and this other guy,
got a shark theme going on
worked
here.
there, yeah. So that's pretty cool. And so a Scream of the Banshee. I've never actually seen it. I've been wanting to see it at some point, so I'm kind of excited to own it. Now I have it. Next is this movie called Open House, which stars Brian Garrick, Rachel Blanchard from Are You Afraid of the Dark / Clueless and stuff like that. Anna Paquin and her husband Stephen Moyer, and Trisha Helfer. So, but it is directed by Andrew Paquin, which I'm guessing is her brother. I don't know that for a fact or not, but I'm guessing it's either her brother or her father. But I'm gonna guess brother. And it's some movie about when a couple on the brink of divorce attempts to sell their house on their own. They discover there's one of their potential buyers isn't apt to leave. They don't want to guest tortures the couple from their basement, and they have little hope of getting out of their marriage and their home alive.
And I really like Anna Paquin, and I love Trish Helfer. Trish Helfer is one of my faves.
Okay, I've never heard of her, but I'll have to watch it just now just to see her. All right, Brutal Massacre comedy,
Yay.
which he had pointed out he was almost tempted to get.
Almost gonna get it.
He was almost gonna grab it, but then he decided to get some other stuff, and I was like, I'm gonna get it because
That cast.
and starring David Naughton from American Werewolf in London. Paris, that's the other one. I liked Paris. I didn't like it as much as London, but it wasn't bad. Brian O'Halloran, Jerry Bednob, from it says the 4-Year-Old Virgin, but he's the guy in Encino Man that says no squeezing the juice.
Oh God, yeah.
Gunnar Hansen, Ellen Sandweiss from Evil Dead, that was also in that other movie, and Vincent Ken Foree. Yeah, tons of different people. It's a great movie. It's comedy. It's kind of a slasher comedy kind of thing. It's just goofy, not to be taken seriously at all. And then he pointed this out to me too.
Big
And then
error.
yeah, big error because he realized what I got afterwards. The first one on the list is The Town That Dreaded Sundown.
It's the one I've been trying to get.
It's the remake.
Really good
of
remake.
It. Yeah, supposedly it's really, really good. I have not actually seen it yet. Edward Herman's in it, and I love Edward Herman. I actually got to meet him at Blood at the Beach. Very, very nice guy, you know. So let's see. Then Nobody Gets Out Alive, which I've never heard of. But then Shiver, which I had heard of because it's got Danielle Harris in it, and Casper Van Dien and Ray Don Chong. Like
Ray
how?
Don Chong.
What an awesome cast right
Yeah.
there. And I've never heard of the director Julian Richards, but I'm excited to watch it. You know, so I'm definitely this is definitely on my list
Town
of
That Dreaded
movies.
Sundown's really good. Really,
I'll have
really
I'll
good.
have to check that out for sure. Then Death Valley, one hell of a trip. Directed by Rudy Leedon and David Kibo. Never heard of either of those guys, but it stars Eric Christian Olsen, Ryder Strong, and Vince Philippe. Vince, I love in Grind, the movie Grind. That's one of my favorite movies, and she did such a wonderful job. He did such a wonderful job in it. And then last on that, and then I'm gonna show you my Goodwill ones. Is Final Move. It looks like a chess horror movie.
Oh yeah, I remember when you got that.
Chess horror movie. I mean, you know, chess already is a horror thing in itself. All right. So next is King of New York,
Abel Ferrara, baby.
which I've never seen. I don't think
Great.
I've seen it all. So
Great.
never. So there you go. And then Sam's Lake, which has Faye Masterson, which he loves.
Oh, I love Faye Masterson.
Sandrine Holt, William Gregory Lee, and Stephen Bishop. I've never heard of any of the other actors, so it looks like a horror movie, and it's from the producers of Twilight, so I'm a little worried about that.
Uh-oh. Sparkly Vampires.
No, I don't think it'll be sparkly vampires, but anyway, that's it. That's all of mine. So he's got his left.
All right, here's my last group. So this is one that I got at like the dollar store, or one of the Dollar Generals and all. Shark Night. It's actually Shark Night in 3D.
Yep.
I remember when that came out, and it's going to be your typical kind of teenagers go to a lake and find out that there's a bunch of sharks in there, and they all get et. So
Makes no sense. Why
Makes
why
no
why are
sense.
sharks in a lake?
so ridiculous. But it looks like it'll be kind of fun. So, and then we got a real indie called Chasing Darkness, and that's kind of this odd mashup of like a gangster movie and vampires. It's like a vampire mafia kind of a thing. So that looks like it could be very interesting. But I looked there.
Shit. This is a big thing because
Yeah.
my buddy Paul Gorman did the
Okay.
director of photography and editing of it. If that's the same Paul Gorman, which I'm pretty sure there's not that many.
Honestly,
that name.
I didn't recognize any of the names in there, so I wasn't really sure. But it looked like it could be fun. So
Looks good.
that'll be
Looks
fun.
look cheesy, you know.
Oh yeah. Oh, and speaking of cheese, we got Vicious Kiss.
That looks cheesy.
Oh man, this is a very cheesy film. It's some kind of weird chick, you know, evil badge, like kind of like what was the Fatal Attraction, that kind
Fatal
of a thing.
Attraction, yeah.
I know that there's a bunch of ones that's in this group, and it's all very kind of similar, and it's, you know, some TNA stuff, and you know, Monique Parent is the chick who's in there and runs around and kills people. Then we got something called Island of the Dead with Malcolm McDowell. And he plays this shady real estate guy who goes to this island off of New York City where they've been sort of dumping unnamed bodies since the Civil War. And they run into a whole bunch of little monsters that sort of, you know, do their thing.
Looks like it's got something to do with like a butterfly or something.
No, yeah, I think it's flies actually.
flies, okay.
Yeah, it's from what I gather, it's pretty poor. So
Yeah, it looks
that
pretty
should make
poor.
it fun.
But fun.
Next, we have a movie. We have a brain damage movie. So this is the same guys who did Evil Toons. So Sickness House. So I think that's these folks go on vacation. They go to this house. Somebody gets some kind of incurable disease. They're all quarantined, and then fun and frolics happen as they usually do.
Fun times.
So another little crazy indie.
Oh God, this one. I'm so
Oh
excited.
yeah. I forget this director's name. I have a couple of his movies. Bloods versus Wolves. It's one of those urban, I have zombies, and I know there's vampires, and now we have Bloods versus Wolves, and yes, it's going to be silly. It's going to be the sort of African American urban version of this, and it's turf war between vampires and werewolves. How you gonna pass that up?
Exactly.
And then finally, our buddies over at Troubled Moon, I wrote to them, and I ended up getting Zombies by Design. Yay, another Dave Wascovich classic. I'm going to get all of the Troubled Moon movies at some point or another. I know it's going to happen.
You haven't seen it yet?
Haven't seen it yet.
We gotta do a review of it on here.
Absolutely.
On here, not on the podcast, because we just did one for Fungicide.
We will do it.
We'll definitely do a video of that, because I
Hear that, Dave? We're coming for you.
We watched Adventures of the Hunted, which
Right.
I was a part of one of the writers on. But we would definitely I can't do I biased a little bit, because my name's on it, so we can't do a review of that. But we can do a review of Zombies by Design,
And
which
we
I've been wanting to see that. So expect that in the next few months or
And
something.
at some point, I'm going to get Malevolent Descent, and then I think there's one more, and I'll have all of them.
Yeah.
So there you go. At least all the ones for the moment.
All right. Well, that's it. I mean, that was our big haul. I mean, this is over.
That's a big haul, baby.
Yeah. Usually we're
gonna
done
need a
about
bigger
20
boat.
minutes, but this this was definitely 30 minutes long and a pretty good one. So
Not
really
bad,
happy
not
that we got some good stuff. I'll be excited to watch some of these when I get
The
home.
monkey's happy.
So tune in for like some Blu-ray Hunter. We're
Yep.
gonna be doing some more Criterion watches.
Oh, yeah, we haven't
and
given up
stuff.
on that.
We haven't given up on that yet. I don't know.
We're just so busy.
Yeah, we got so much stuff going on. So check back with that and check our little video about what's going on. So, all right. Well, I will talk to you guys later.
Peace out, baby.
Have a good one. Bye.
Yeah.